everybody, today I want to do a quick video about property taxes, what they're for, how they're figured, and how you could potentially reduce them. So let's get started. Property taxes are the primary source of funding for a local government, and taxes are allocated to things like schools, libraries, police and fire services, and even for maintenance on local infrastructure like highways, streets, and buildings. They are figured according to the value of taxpayers' property. A couple of interesting things about property taxes here in Indiana. One, property taxes are capped at various levels. In 2008, Indiana put into effect property tax caps that limit an owner's property tax burden to a certain percentage of the property's gross assessed value. So there are three different levels. Number one, property taxes for owner occupants are capped at 1% of the gross assessed value. It's 2% for other residential property and farmland, and 3% for all other property. The other interesting thing about property taxes here in Indiana is that we are 12 months in arrears. This means that taxes that are due in the current year are going towards the previous year's taxes. Now, this really only comes into play when you go to sell a property. It is customary in Indiana, because our property taxes are 12 months in arrears, that the seller will give the buyer a credit for property taxes that have accrued on the property but are not yet due. Go into great detail about how property taxes are figured. There is a great website that you'll see on the screen now provided by the state that does go through how to read your tax bill and how to understand how they figured what you owe. I highly suggest that when you get your tax bill this year to head to this website. It will give you a wealth of information of how they figured out what your taxes are. To sum it up very briefly, what the state will do is look at the prior year assessment along with current sales data from a neighborhood or area and adjust that property value accordingly. Now, it is a pretty subjective figure, as most value property assessments are, but when you get your property tax bill, if you do feel like it may be a little bit high, there is a way to appeal it. This website will walk you through the property tax appeal process. To start, you will need to fill out this form, which is the taxpayer's notice to initiate an appeal. You will need to detail why the assessed value is being disputed. Once that appeal has been filed with the local assessing official, the assessor will review the information and make a recommendation, either approving or denying the appeal. If the appeal is denied, it will then be forwarded to the Property Tax Assessment Board for review. Now, if they deny the appeal, then instructions will be provided on how to appeal with the Indiana Board of Tax Review. After being heard by the Indiana Board of Tax Review, taxpayers may also seek review by the Indiana Tax Court. A taxpayer can also appeal based on incorrect factual matters, such as an incorrect description. A list of those items are here. These types of factual disputes can be made for up to 3 years of assessments. If you're also requesting a refund for previous year's property taxes, you will also need to file a claim for refund. So keep your eyes peeled for your property tax assessments. Those usually come out late January into February. You have until June 15th to appeal those, even though the first property tax bill is due May 10th. If you get your property tax bill and you do feel like it is high, feel free to reach out to me. I am happy to pull some comps and we can have a discussion on whether or not an appeal might be feasible for you.